Hey guys, Dan Belke with Everything Cloud here, and today I want to talk a little bit about scheduling. And the number one reason why you want to do scheduling is to save cost on resources that you don't need to be running all the time, but then they're also maybe not a candidate for a reserved instance or something like that. So we can do scheduling on databases, we can do scheduling on instances and virtual machines in AWS and in Azure. So let me show you how quick and easy it can be done. So what we're going to do first is let's just hop over to our resources. I'm going to search by state here just because I want to show you two machines that we have here. One that's in Azure, one that's in AWS. And what I'm going to do is just simply just click on the schedule icon here. And now I can pick a schedule that already exists. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new schedule. And in this case, I'm going to pretend that I'm building a schedule for developers, right? So these are developers, they, not typically working on the weekend. Now, remember, we can always override these schedules if we want to, and we'll look at that in a second. But so these are going to be for developer working hours. So what we want to do here is we're just going to say developer working hours. Description, this is for the dev team. Okay, we don't need to put that in, but we're going to. Now, one thing to know is that we can apply our schedules on an hour-to-hour basis, but we can also apply them on a 15-minute basis if we want to be very, very granular. So we could go to 15 minutes here, but we're going to go to 1 hour. And in this scenario, let's just say that, we don't expect our developers to be working on Saturday. We also don't expect them to be working on Sunday. 8 in the morning, that's when we want the machines to fire up for them. And then at about 6 o'clock at night, we're going to turn them off. Now, based on what we're seeing here, that's 50 hours of uptime, that's 118 hours of downtime, and that's a 70% savings on any resource that we attach this schedule to. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say save the schedule. Okay, now that's already done. So you see here it's green. That means that there is now a schedule attached to this resource. And now this here, I'm going to go to this test server and I'm going to attach the schedule that we just created. So just as simple as not creating a new one, we just say, oh yeah, here's my developer working hours. Let's select that. Okay, and so now that is also been applied to the test server. So now, what we can do, if you want, you can go to your schedules, and now we can see all the different schedules we have here. And if you're ever curious about like what schedule is attached to what services, we can come here and say, developer working hours. So great, this is our developer working hours. Here is our schedule. And we know that this schedule has been applied to the test server and the superset server. So what you're seeing right now is because I've attached the schedule, and now when I'm making this video, it's past 6 o'clock. So you'll see that this machine is stopping, and soon the test server is going to stop as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pause this video just for a minute, and then I'm going to wait for these things to fully stop so I can show you what a possible override might look like. So just one moment. All right, so I'm just back for a real quick second. Now we'll see they're both in a stopping state. So it takes a little bit of time for these machines to come down. So we're just gonna wait this out for another minute or two. So just hang tight. Okay, so now we're back, and you'll see that both are in a stop state now. So these are down for the night. Right now, as you see, it's 6:31, so that was expected. At 6 o'clock, they turn off, and so they turn on again at 8 o'clock in the morning. But let's just say, I want to do some work tonight. What I would do is, we're looking at our resources here, and we know, for example, one of these is superset is the one here. So we'll see it has a schedule applied to it, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on this. Now, I have a couple options now. I can detach the schedule, so completely just detach it. It's got no schedule applied to it, then it's just running on its own. I can change the schedule to another schedule, like for example, like a different one that I've set, or I can override the schedule. And we always recommend that we override the schedule opposed to just attaching the schedule, because if you're doing some work as a developer, you might say, you know what, I want to just detach the schedule because I don't want it turning off on me again. But even if you set your override schedule a little farther out, this is going to protect us from forgetting about it and then leaving it on. And then 2 months later, we realize this machine's just been running 24 hours a day. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to override the schedule. Now, we have two options here. I might come in here and say, you know what, 6 o'clock, I'm going to do 4 hours of work tonight. I'm going to override the schedule for 4 hours. So that is one option that I can do. Or I can say, you know what, I know that this machine, it's going to do some processing and I need to let it run for like 3 days. So what I can do is I can say override the schedule until Friday at, 1900 hours. And then I can simply just say override the schedule. And that's simple. So that's as simple as it is to add a schedule to your resource, as well as override the schedule if you want to not work in that time, or you do want to do work in that time. So if you have any questions, please reach out to us. Would love to work with you guys. Thanks.